Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Manga Melee podcast, a bi-weekly manga podcast. As always, I am your host, Jay, and I am joined this week by my usual co-host nowadays, LynBWT. How are you doing today, Lynn?
Doing well, man. Can't complain. Excited to be back, especially after that last episode. It was really good. So super
Great, great.
excited to be back.
All right. So, what have you been up to this week, Lynn? It's been, or past 2 weeks, actually. What have you been up to?
Not much. Just working. I kind of got back into playing video games, but I not like I used to. Like I don't even have my PS5 anymore. I just been playing FIFA on my girlfriend's PS4. That's about it. But
Oh,
other than that, got a new anime figure or new manga figure, and Eustace Kid joining the crew. And then if I
nice.
can turn my thing, I got a pretty bitchin' Cowboy Bebop poster.
Oh, nice. You got like a wall scroll.
Yeah, it's pretty
That's
dope.
sick.
And all of them have
Nice.
glasses, and it's a pretty dope aesthetic. So
I like that.
that's my favorite thing. Friday, I'm hoping to pick up a figure from the anime shop in Lafayette of Spike's ship. So that'll be a good one to join the crew.
Oh, nice. What store are you planning to go to for that?
Hold on, I'll tell you the name of it. I just have to find it. I'm not sure of the name, but
It's been so long since I've been there, that I don't remember. But I mean, I'm sure all the stores have like either changed up. A few of them have probably like closed. A few new ones have opened, especially with the pandemic and all that.
this one is called. Hold on, I'm gonna find it. But yeah, no, it's like probably the best anime and manga store in Lafayette. It's called. No, it's not the one in the mall. I'm gonna find it because I really like what I like these guys. And Pure Fiction Collectibles. Here we go.
Okay, yeah. So if you're in the Lafayette area, I know a lot of our listener base is in the Louisiana Lafayette area, and you want to go pick up some good collectibles or manga, Pure Fiction Collectibles in Lafayette is
Yeah,
a
they're pretty
good
dope.
source for that. Yeah.
How
And
have you been?
also,
How was your week?
yeah, I've been pretty good. Mostly just dodging snowstorms and stuff like
Okay.
that. So that's gross. But other than that, pretty good. Watch some movies, watch some anime. We've got Vinland Saga season 2 coming out right now. I've been enjoying
Yeah.
that a lot. The last episode was fantastic. Um, Watched a movie called Summer Ghost that was pretty good. It was pretty good, is what I'll say. I wasn't quite as high on it as the other people who I watched it with and reviewed it with. You can check our review over at What Do You Say Anime for that on Monday. I think that'll be coming out over on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts. And other than that, I've been reading a lot in general, regular books and manga, and kind of just planning out the new year. I know it's cliche to want to get healthy and stuff like that during New Year, but I'm feeling pretty energized about that sort of
Nah, I
thing.
feel you.
You
I've been
know?
doing the same. Like, been trying
Yeah,
to cut my hair, make sure my hair is kept up every 2 weeks. I've been doing like body workouts in my house of like push ups and sit ups to get right before I start, really hitting the weights. So I've been trying to do the same. Me and my girlfriend have been eating healthier, so I totally get that.
yeah, for sure. I'm trying to find like a good 24-hour gym around me since I work really odd hours, but it's difficult because I don't really want to go to like Anytime Fitness because they can be
Mm-hmm.
kind of crowded at points in the mornings for sure. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
usually gonna be there in the morning, so I want to find something a bit more low key, something that maybe has a bit more range to it as well, I guess is what I'm looking for there.
I got you. Word.
Yeah. But yeah, pretty good week for manga as well. We'll have our Sakamoto Days review after we get through the news here, and not a whole lot of news coming out this week. We got a new release in a Weekly Shonen Jump with a Jiangxi X. I know you were on that, I think, right?
Yeah, I read the first chapter. I really enjoyed it. It's not like, like the other typical things where when you see like a group of people where they're hunting like demons or stuff. And granted, this group in the story were created to destroy specific like monsters and stuff. But that's not the purpose of the show. The purpose of the show is an offset of like the hunter group, I guess you would say, or the people who fight has like this evil maniacal dude, and like he wants to battle his old organization. So it's that sort of thing. And I'm shocked that they like introduced that in chapter 1, because either it's not going to be long or this guy's going to be the villain for the whole time. And if it's the latter, then that can be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think, hearing that sort of thing, I haven't read the chapter yet. I'm gonna take care of that after probably either after we get off, or I'm gonna let the chapter stack a bit, because with with Shonen Jump in these battle series, you can never be too sure.
True.
I've just gotten my hopes up so many times for series just to get it crushed. Uh I don't know. I think that the creator of this knows that you got to establish your story early in Jump, because if
Definitely
you
did
don't get
that.
you don't get those hooks in, then you're not gonna hook your audience and you're not gonna last. Like we saw that mistake with something like Red Hood, where they didn't establish the world building fast enough, and it was out of there by like chapter 30 or something like that.
Which is a
Similar,
damn shame.
yeah, similar thing with the other one that we liked, Ayashimon. Like
Oh, even more of a damn
they
shame.
got a little bit of the world building down beforehand, but it was a little bit much for a lot of people, and it was in an oversaturated market when it came to that kind of like urban fantasy demon battle like genre.
But we kept P6,
Yeah.
SMH. And also shout out to the diehard Shonen Jumpers who was there when like the app first started, and there was this thing called Hell Warden Hagwama. Oh, it was so good. Reminded me so much of Yu Yu Hakusho. So sad it only got 20 chapters, and seeing basically it's this guy and he goes and tries to save souls, and he's part of like these Hell Wardens, aka like the spirit detectives. Oh, and it was so good, man. He used like different demon artifacts to hunt him down. It was great, but only 20 chapters. A damn shame.
Yeah, yeah, I think that we all have like a series like that. That's our Shonen Jump White Whale that we wish would have gotten at least a proper ending rather than rushed out the door and unceremoniously axed.
But Giganchi X, I definitely say if you like martial arts, and it seems more, and granted, I could be wrong about this, but it seems more China based. Like
Yeah,
a lot of the clothing, a lot of like the weaponry that we saw, a lot of just even the buildings look a lot different than the typical samurai era, the shogunate era, because it's in that time frame, but it
well,
really looks more China-esque.
a Jiangshi is a Chinese vampire
Oh,
actually.
okay. So
It's a
boom.
it's a it's the basically the equivalent of a China. So you know how in a lot of like anime and such, you'll see like those like Chinese corpses that are like reanimated. They'll have like the tag on them, and they're
That's
always wearing
exactly
like
what it
the hat
is.
and stuff. Yeah, that's what that is. They like hop around and whatnot.
Okay.
It's vampire isn't necessarily the correct term for it, but it's the closest equivalent in
Yeah,
Western
they're like
mythology to it.
they're like zombie, but they're kind of
They
alive.
drain
But then
they
they
drain like life forces and stuff like
exactly.
that, than rather than drinking blood. Similar ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Similar ideas.
But
But
it was
yeah,
tight.
yeah, that kind of reminds me a little bit of like Hell's Paradise, even though it's a Japanese manga. It was very much rooted in like Southeastern Asian and Chinese mythology for it. And we're actually seeing that a little bit in something like Jujutsu Kaisen nowadays, when with the world, how they're expanding the world, and we saw a curse that was based off of like an Indian god and stuff like that.
Okay. Real.
Yeah,
I know we're in America right now. They're doing that whole thing. Well, not in America, they're dealing with America.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, and then we had the manga uh awards for manga that we wanted to see animated. It was a poll that was ran in Japan listing the top series that people wanted to see animated.
What
A
one?
a few standouts. Number one, we had Blue Box.
Oh, okay,
I know
interesting.
Chris and Pete will be happy to hear that for the most part. Um, I guess other people are really enjoying Blue Box. I know I've seen them complaining about where the state of that it's in on Twitter every
And
now
look,
and
it's
then.
always up there on Shonen Jump, so
Yeah, for
people must
sure.
love it.
Number two, we had Akane Banashi as well. Actually, my favorite
Nice.
Rakugo manga at the moment. Number five, we actually had a sleeper hit in After God, a series that I've been pushing for so long. Need more people to read it. If you like, I wouldn't even really call it a battle manga because there's really not a whole lot of fighting that goes on. It's more of like a mystery intrigue with some like battles that go on very
Okay.
rarely. I don't know
Okay.
what I would like. It's kind of like how Full Metal Alchemist has fights in it, but it's not really a fighting.
Not about that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And
It's
then
called After God.
yeah, After God. And you can find that on the Comic Key app on in America if you want to
Okay.
support the official release. I'm sad because the Comic Key app I feel like has really hindered the audience it could get in America. It has like this weird like freemium model to it where you can only read like a certain amount of chapters per day and it has ads in it and everything. And most people in America who read manga online are either spoiled by the Shonen Jump or Viz app, which gives you access to, you know, everything for a very cheap amount, all things considered, or they just pirate it and they don't really ever have to deal with any of that sort of thing apart from like annoying pop-ups. So I don't know. Support the official release for After God, but read it however you want to because it's just something that I think more people need to get on. It's
The
so
plot. I
good.
just read the plot. It sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is super good. So yeah, for those of you who might not know, After God, it basically takes place in a post-apocalyptic Tokyo or Japan in general, where these organisms that people call gods have shown up. And gods are roaming beasts essentially that can, if they stare at you, they'll turn you into stone. If they breathe on you, it'll turn you into like salt water, that sort of thing. But they also have followers that they grant like terrible powers and whatnot, and people worship them, as well as having an organization that is our main organization that is seeking to combat them and research them, as well as, in some cases, weaponize them.
Mm. This art looks pretty damn good too.
Yeah, the art is really fantastic, in my opinion, especially the spreads. The author is just really good, really, really good. And I believe this is their first manga as well.
Damn,
I'm
that's
actually
crazy.
Yeah, I'm really considering buying some of the volumes because the volume covers go crazy as well. Other stuff that we had that people might recognize. Witch Watch was the number eight. Windbreaker, that's like I believe it's a drama about like running. It's like a running sports drama, college age sports drama. Uma Musume Cinderella Gray. It's a horse girl manga that is stupid popular. The DVD sales for the original series for Uma Musume, like when Evangelion came out on Blu-ray, it outsold Evangelion in Japan.
Real. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
and then we also have stuff like a Bride Story, Gachi Akuda. We want to talk about Kaguya, stuff like that. So
Shout out to Gotchi Akuda. Needed to get an anime.
would love to see some of this stuff animated. Would really love to see some of this stuff animated. And you know, I should catch up with Witch Watch a bit more since it seems to be so popular. I really enjoy how the character designs and volume covers look. So I'm gonna check that out.
Sure.
And then we also had we had some manga awards come out, and these are again a few things that we recognize here, but a few things that I wasn't aware of that I'm pretty interested in now, actually. So Akane Banashi won an award. You can find that obviously in Weekly Shonen Jump. I'll just get the Weekly Shonen Jump ones out of the way. Akane Banashi won. Goodbye Eri won. Takopi's Original Sin by Taizen 5 won. You and I Are Polar Opposites by Kaucha Asagawa, which is on the Shonen Jump Plus app one. That's like a romance. Uh, A Witch's Life in Mongol by Tomato Soup one. I wasn't able to find the magazine that this one was in, but this is about like a girl who is a medicine woman from Iran who gets kidnapped in the Mongol Empire
Damn.
and,
Okay.
and has to like she's like the attendant for a high-ranking official or something like that, and it's about her daily life trying to survive in an unknown environment and just like learning about the Mongolians and stuff like that. So
Interesting.
think of it as like a slice of life akin to something similar to Golden Kamuy is what I would
Okay.
say,
Okay.
where a lot of it will be focused on the cultural aspects of the people that they're around, as well as the intrigue of dealing with like, you know, court stuff.
All right. Word. That sounds dope.
Yeah, I actually really want to check that one out. And then we also had a story about smoking in the back of a supermarket. This one is a pretty fun romance. It's an adult romance about this like salary man who hates his job, and every week he goes to or every day he goes to a supermarket and he sees this girl at the counter who like cheers him up, and he has like a crush on her and whatnot. And then
Okay.
one day he goes to smoke at the back of the supermarket and he sees this like punk rock girl smoking back there who is kind of rude to him but is nice, and they become
It
friends. And
intrigues him.
well, they become friends, and she's the one who he confides in about his like crush on the girl
Oh.
in the supermarket. And she tells him, you know, you should do this for her, you should do that. And then it turns out that they are actually the same person. It's just her off shift with her hair down. And that's just not how she acts normally because she's at her job whenever he sees her. It's really cute, only has like 30 something chapters, and it's a good adult romance that has like some mature themes to it and stuff, but without being too horny as well. Like it's just a good, wholesome adult romance if you want that sort of thing. Highly
Word.
recommended. And then we got Nippon Sangaku by Matsuki Ika. I think this is something you would really like. It's serialized on the Manga One app. It
Okay.
is about a basically, I keep saying basically, um, Japan has, it's the future, and Japan has re-entered the Sengoku era because of post an apocalypse has happened. And this is a story about a boy who is trying to become the greatest tactician and reunite Japan under one banner.
Hell yeah. Okay. And I like
Yeah.
that. Interestingly enough, they are in the future, but they went back to the past, which means they could have tech. Maybe that's cooler than like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that.
You're gonna see some like Fallout sort of stuff going
Yeah.
on
Okay.
there.
That sounds interesting. What's the name? I'll write it down.
Nippon Sengoku.
Okay. Let me put this with my. How do you spell that for those out
Uh
there? That
Nippon
okay. Okay.
Sangoku.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
And you can find that on on Manga One. It's the I believe it's the same place that they publish Mob Psycho in English.
Okay. I'm definitely check that out. I've been reading Dungeon Meshi and loving that.
Oh, nice, man. We can definitely do a review of that at some point too. I need to catch up. I love that. And we can rope Peter in for that as well,
Yeah, I
because
told him
that's one
about
of his
that.
favorites.
He was like, "We need to talk about it." I was like, "I'll let you know when I'm caught up. I'm only on like chapter 10, but I like it."
Yeah. Uh, and then the other ones that we have Hoshi of the Girls Garden. This is about a got like a RA at a all girls school and just him like helping them out and stuff like that. He discovers like a secret garden, I think, or something.
Okay.
We have Gekaiku Kamen. This is about a guy who discovers his love of Toku and his friends in the Toku community. For those who don't know, Tokusatsu is basically like Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, like live action stuff like that, dramatic sort of stuff based around people running around in mask and costumes. And then we also have Draw This Then Die by Minoru Toyota. This is a manga writing or a manga illustration manga about a girl growing up in a rural set of islands. And the last one we got is another familiar one that we've seen plenty of times on the top selling list. It is The Summer Hikaru Died by Rin Mokumoku. This is about a boy who he has a best friend, and one day his best friend uh, goes into the mountains and disappears, and then he comes back and the main character discovers that this is not his friend. This is the monster that killed and ate his friend. And it's him learning how to like deal with that because like he can't get rid of it, and this is kind of a way for him to keep his friend around him,
Okay.
sort of deal. It's an interesting story. I really should read more of it. And that's what we have for those manga awards.
Nice.
Yeah. We also just got a few volumes coming out. We got My Hero Academia volume 37 got announced.
Crazy cover, but man, like
Yeah,
spoilery as
spoilery
hell.
cover.
Yeah.
Spoilery cover. If you were not current with the My Hero
I would
manga,
not look at that.
do not go look into it.
Like at all. Because man, the chapters right now have been phenomenal. The one that's about to drop this week is definitely, it trended last night when the spoilers dropped. It's gonna trend when the chapter drops. It's fucking crazy.
How much longer do you think we got left?
After this chapter, it's definitely ending by the end of the year. Easy.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the chapter?
I mean I can like I can
All
tell
right.
people what's up.
We'll talk spoilers a little bit for My Hero Academia. If you're not interested in that sort of thing, fast forward like a minute.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do more than 2. But yeah, no, the spoilers that dropped for this latest chapter have basically taken out All For One. Like legit. Like so apparently Shigaraki and him, so the way that it's been working is All For One has taken over Shigaraki's body and basically pushed Shigaraki down. But the whole time Shigaraki was like, look, I understand you're my master, but this is my free will. You're in my body. I appreciate your help, but like you're not taking over. And apparently he thought Shigaraki tricked everybody and well, not everybody, tricked All For One and made him think that like his origin was deterring him from everything and like that he didn't know that All For One did what he did to him. And granted, we don't know if he did more, but All For One definitely contributed and chose him because his grandmother was Shimura Nana and was one of the former users. And
Right.
he didn't, All For One always thought that Shigaraki didn't know that. But Shigaraki knew that and was holding that inside of him as hatred for All For One. So not only does he hate All Might and everything what he did to his family, he also hates All For One. And that hatred mixed with his other hatred allowed him to get control of his body back. And as of now, we don't know if All For One's dead or not, but he's not in control anymore. And it's 100% Shigaraki's face. The whole body transformed, like the hands of Shigaraki came out of the mouth and like pulled the face down and like basically did like some, yeah, no, it was wild. Like did some crazy shit and like his body's back and it's nuts. And All For One was trying to rush back to his OG bodies before Shigaraki did that so he could get into his OG body. So because he was rushing, we don't know if he's dead or not. But the last panel ended with like Shigaraki looking at Deku and Deku doing this like amazing pose. This is the best Deku's ever been drawn, and they're about to go at it. So this may be the final fight.
Right. So you don't think that they'll have another fight with All For One after this, or
see that? Okay, so it just depends on what happens with him. Like if he ends up getting his body back, then there definitely will be another fight. But if he doesn't, and this is the end, then damn crazy.
Yeah, that is pretty wild, honestly.
Like it because it makes because the whole time we were like, oh man, Deku's gonna have to shave Shigaraki. How cliche, how basic.
Yeah.
And Shigaraki came out was like, I don't want no saving. I'm doing this because I want to, and I'm here, baby. I know my shit. Like I'm doing. And Deku was like, but what about that little boy crying? He was like, it was fake. So All For One could believe I wasn't real. Like it blew my fucking mind. Yeah, I was like,
that's crazy.
Shit, this is wild. So I was like, all right, Hori. Okay, so maybe Deku won't save Shigaraki. But either way, we're gonna see. But that last chapter was a banger.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna let Hori cook because honestly, I know a lot of people were kind of complaining about where the story was going for a while, just because it was dragging a little bit with some of the fights there. Let's admit it. Like the Dobby and Endeavor fight, that like it was cool, but it lasted for a long
Ooh,
long
Jazz would be upset. Jazz,
I
but
know
no,
they
I get what
would,
you.
but that's I
I
know
get
that's
your
his
point.
boy. I know that's his boy. I just think the pacing of it wasn't fantastic.
There are definitely moments of that where of this final, if this is the final arc, that I definitely agree with you. There are things that should have been focused more. There are things that got too much focus. So I definitely agree with that.
But I understand Hori is under a lot of pressure and is working himself very, very hard on this,
Because
like with his wrist and stuff like that. So
even though it's not a top manga in Japan, like it is an American, like they're making him like you said, work his ass off. Cause like
it's still big in Japan. Don't let people downplay it. It's not like the number one, or it's not like even number 3 or anything, but it's still big. Like,
no, for sure. But you know
being
what
in
I
the
mean.
top,
Like,
I get you. Being in the
yeah.
top 10 is still massive.
Like that
It
thing
is.
has been the highest manga in the New York Times bestseller since it's come out. Like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
like
It's definitely the most popular manga. And I mean, Chainsaw Man might have it give it a run for its money nowadays, but for the
like
longest time, it
yeah,
was
for like the
holding it
past
down.
5 years, it's been the way. Like Demon Slayer didn't even pass it up, which is crazy.
Yeah, that is true. So it probably won't get passed up by Chainsaw Man.
But I will say, Chainsaw Man, to your point, the fact that it resembles Tarantino movies heavily, like it has American movie themes.
I also
that give Chainsaw Man, like maybe Americans might mess with it heavy.
People were popping off on Chainsaw Man from like the get-go when the anime came out. Demon Slayer had like delayed hype.
It was like episode 19. Yeah.
Episode 19, 100% was when the true hype for Demon Slayer
popped off. Yeah. Well, JJK's about to have a 19 this season with Shibuya and Toji and all that shit.
I think it honestly had like some 19s already.
Me too. The jumping, like that was big, but they're not ready.
It'll break the internet.
It's gonna be when Gojo's like this doing the pose when he has his hands and everything back. He's like, "I'm Gojo, I'm that fucker."
Yeah,
that's gonna be a meme. Everybody can know it. Everybody that everywhere. Like he like fucking incels are gonna use it. Normal people are gonna use it. That's gonna be used for everything.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm pretty sure we're getting that this year.
Yeah, in the summer. So, that's what they that's what they said. I'm pretty sure.
All right, hell yeah. I wasn't sure if it was the summer or the fall, but I'll take whatever I can get, honestly.
Yeah, I think. Especially... Oh yeah, no. Release date announced. It's gonna be. Hold on. Oh, I might have clicked the wrong. Yeah, no. July 2023.
All right. Heck yeah. Oh, yeah. Nice. I'm excited for that then, for sure.
I'm just interested. Do you think we're getting all of Shibuya, or do you think we're just gonna get the Toji Gojo stuff in the beginning of Shibuya?
Okay, so I'm gonna say some spoilers for the.
Oh yeah, my bad, listeners.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You didn't spoil anything. I'm gonna say some spoilers for the ending of the Shibuya arc. So, if you're not, this is a manga podcast, so hopefully you're current with one of the more popular manga that we review here a lot of the time.
Skip ahead a little bit.
Skip ahead a little bit if you're not a JJK fan or if you don't want to get spoiled on the anime that's coming out for this year. But I think that where they end the season is with Yuta getting the order to go kill Yuji.
Ah, okay.
And
so
right
after Shibuya, gotcha.
You do that as a post-credit scene. Like it's literally like ending music is playing in the background over it, and you see like
that's hard.
He gets the thing,
and they can do that because they did movie zero. That's hard.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's honestly a big reason why they did movie zero as the movie instead of.
So let me pitch this to you, because since they did do movie zero, do you think that's the last episode, and then the post credit is like some ghetto shit? Like, because I'm with you with Yuta, because like you're right, they did do movie zero because of that. But do you think because of movie zero's success, they might make it more?
I think the last frame is literally showing Yuta. Like I think Yuta's face is literally the last frame because they know people love him. And that it will make the hype insane for the next core or season or whatever.
I'm gonna take your idea and because so that's your bet. I'm gonna take your idea, but just flip it a smidge. I think the last episode, more than the post credit, like maybe like the last 5-10 minutes will be what you're saying. Just because of the movie zero thing, I think they're gonna want to give him a little bit more screen time because people love that dude. Like his Funko Pop sales did well, his
I don't
figure
know,
sales did
man.
well. That'd be
I don't
crazy.
know. I don't know. I don't think
Like,
that
like the peeps love them some Yuta. Like
they do. They do, but yeah, I
we
could
should
see
we
it
should
go either
see.
way.
Either
I
way,
could see it go either way.
that's what I'm saying. Like I love your idea. Like that, either way, I'm with it. And then just with my post credit, just like you said, just make it some ghetto shit. Like, oh yeah, my man in a box. Like just him sitting there post credit, just with the box in his hand.
Yeah.
Like the wait for the culling game. Boom.
Yeah.
Season in. But it'll be crazy if they do all of Shibuya. If they do it, I'm hyped. It's gonna go nut. Like people aren't ready for that.
Yeah, I imagine it'll be a two core, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
They probably do like the first 4 or 5, maybe 6 episodes for the hidden inventory, like flashback arc.
Yeah, which is gonna be gas in
It's
itself.
gonna be great too. People will love that.
Like
And
Toji's one
then
of my favorites.
yeah, and young Gojo, young Geto, like
Yeah,
that shit's
fuck yeah.
fantastic. And then after that we get into Shibuya. We get 6 episodes of Shibuya in that first core, and then the
Okay.
entire 12, 13 episode core of the next season, that would be all the rest of Shibuya.
Okay, real. So if that happens, and JJK is easily anime of the year favorite for this year. Like there's
Yeah.
like easily. Like I'm sorry to all the other stuff dropping,
if
but like
in the Crunchyroll awards, it would be. I mean, for the Bros Who
for
Think
us, it's
Awards,
gonna make it. Yeah.
100 Anime Talk Awards, 100%. Unfortunately for the Crunchyroll Awards, it's gonna have to compete against Bleach and
Which is,
Chainsaw
bro,
Man.
did you see that? Like they said everything
I did.
from winter last year is into this year. That's so stupid. Like that. I feel like
no fall season from last year.
Yeah, that's what really pissed me off more so than the winter. I feel like that is a buy. Do they have any series that are exclusively streaming to them that are in the beginning? Because if so, I feel that is biased to their IP and things that they own, so they can say.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. I wouldn't because Chainsaw Man is a big thing, and they had exclusivity to that, right? Like that was the biggest thing besides Bleach that
was on Hulu.
No, oh yeah, you're right. It was
on Hulu
too. But it was on Crunchyroll too, though.
Like I'm just trying to think, is there anything like that they had? Because like, man, Bleach, Chainsaw Man, fucking Mob Psycho can't be in it. It's whack.
Yeah, I definitely think it's whack too. I don't think it was necessarily for that reason. I just think it was like they probably
too much shit.
They probably had some judges that were just like, oh, I can't
watch it.
Like, yeah, we need to get the deadlines in before X date so we can get all the. Plus, I guess you kind of have to consider that like they have people from the industry who fly in from Japan.
Fair.
Like that, so
but they've been watching it for a while. You know what I'm saying? Like some of that stuff.
They have to get the accommodations for the people to fly in and stuff like that.
True.
So like there is some reasoning for it. It's still lame though, because it's like this is the first time they've ever
done that. Like I'm gonna lose my bet to Pete because of that, which is whack. Like I gotta talk to him about that. Like we didn't know at the time when we made the bet that they were counting all of fall. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We may have to push the bet back to next year. Like I'm okay with that. Like I don't think like he should outright, like I should outright win or he should outright win. I'm just saying let's push it.
Between you and him.
I know. I'm just pitching it. I'm just pitching it out to the listeners. Like
he's a gambling man. So
I know he's gonna listen. So he might, we might add some stakes just to move it to next year, just so my hero can be in the thing. Like it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
I get you. Yeah, I think if you double down on it, he would be more than
he'd be interested. Exactly. And then if I give him something that like I have to watch too, on top of what our original terms were, I think he'd be into it.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, Pete, if you're listening, hit me up.
Other volumes we had released, we had Sakamoto Days Volume 10. Looks hard. It's just like a portrait of Slur/X. Looks fantastic.
A crazy man.
Yeah, he's pretty insane. And then Undead Unluck 15, Volume 15, also dropping. And apparently, I just also want to issue an apology to Undead Unluck. for like openly wondering about its popularity and such on the pod because it's been kind of low. I honestly think that I was going about it the wrong way with Undead Unluck. I think
Okay.
Undead Unluck is not an amazingly popular series, but I think that Shonen Jump knows its expectations for Undead Unluck and doesn't expect it to be like a JJK, a Demon Slayer, a One Piece.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a thing like it's getting a commemorative color page because of how popular the arc that it's in right now is in
People love
Japan.
it. Like,
Yeah. So
I
I
think
think
it's gonna
I
do
think
well
I
in
think I was
America.
wrong. So I am sorry to the Undead Unluck fandom and stuff like that.
Hey, shout out. I'm a
That's
part of
my
that
fault.
hive.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
Look, and look, it's
I was
nothing
comparing it
like
to the wrong things.
yeah, and see the thing is it's one of those where like it knows what it is and it does what it does very well, and it's not trying to be more than what it is. Like it understands that hey, it may not become like the top seller, but for being like in terms of wrestling, you always need a champion for sure. But for a wrestling company to work, you need the mid carders. You need the people to fill out because a wrestling show's 3 hours. Like the top guy is only going to go at the end, but you need people to fill out that 2 hours. And for Shonen Jump, you need yeah, you have your JJKs in One Piece, but like you don't want
Still
to
have all those
have
back pages.
yeah,
Yeah.
you don't want just things you're gonna axe. You want something that'll stay there that people will like that can be in the middle of the magazine. And that's what Undead Unluck is, and it does the perfect job of being a mid-tier manga.
Can I blow your mind?
Go ahead.
I think P6 is the same thing, and you hate on that so
Damn.
much.
I do hate P6.
I know it's just not your thing, but I think
not.
P6 is the same deal. I
You're,
think it's the same deal.
you're probably right. And have you read P6? Like, are you reading it?
I've read a bit of it. Admittedly, I'm not current with it, but I have
Okay.
read a bit of it. That was back when we had Parf on the show more. Shout out Parf.
Shout out Twitterless Parf.
Shout out Twitterless Parf Esquire at some point.
Yeah, that's fire.
Uh yeah.
So yeah, P6, yeah, it probably is that. You're right. Damn, still don't fuck with it, but
Bro.
but I'll apologize to the fans. If y'all fuck with it, that's what's up. I like Jay did for Undead Unluck. I can apologize to the P6 fans. Because I hate on it a shit ton. But Undead Unluck's gonna be litty when that anime drops. People are gonna fuck with it in America.
Oh, and then we also had there was a Golden Future Cup recently happened. That's a manga contest where the winner of it gets serialization rights to publish in the future of Weekly Shonen Jump.
Okay.
And the winner of that was a manga called Koi no Yobi no Seizaki-san by Shirasaki Shirokuma. That means last name means white bear, actually.
That's a cool last name.
Yeah. I'm not sure what it's about. I couldn't find like a description about it online, but it has a pretty interesting art style to it. It reminds me a little bit of like quintessential quintuplets because there's like a bunch of identical redheads in the art for it.
Okay.
So be on the lookout for something by that mangaka. Maybe I think that's also a one shot that you can probably read online somewhere, since it had to have something in order to win. Yeah, other than that, I think that's just about all we got for news, besides for the the usual like the table of contents. So I'll just run through the table of contents real quick.
Okay.
So for Weekly Shonen Jump issue number 9, we got Mashle getting the lead color page. Akane Banashi at number 1, followed by One Piece. Then we got My Hero Academia getting color page as well. Witch Watch at number 3, Jujutsu Kaisen at number 4, Sakamoto Days at number 5, rounding out our top 5. Blue Box at number 6, Ichinosi Family's Deadly Sins getting a color page.
Nice.
Undead Unluck at 7, Fabricant 100 coming in. Me and Roboco at getting color page.
That's definitely a mid Carter.
Yeah, That's definitely a mid-carder. You're right.
Like,
Well, I know a lot of people are pretty high on it, but I think it's just the nature of me and Roboco. It's not something that really
is
is going to.
striving for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not something that's really trying to sell like like a big blockbuster thing like One Piece or JJK or whatever. Yeah, for sure. At number 8, we got Cypher Academy. At number 9, we got The Elusive Samurai. 10, Mission Yozakura Family. Black Clover at 11. At number 12, we got Ichigoki's Under Control. P6 at 13. Tokyo Demon Bride Story at 14. Ginka and Gluna at 15. And High School Family at 16. Sad to see Ginka and Gluna so low. I hope it can kind of recover a little bit. I've actually really been enjoying the story.
Which, let me see what that is, because I don't even know if I read that. But I know I was about to tell you, Mission Yakuza Family, that's another one that's a mid-carder that will get an anime. And it's like, if you love Mafia, Yakuza stuff, Mission Yakuza Family, and then a little slice of life too.
Yozakura Family.
Yozakura Family. My
Yeah.
bad. Yeah,
No
that
worries,
one,
no worries.
gas. And then like if you like slice of life, it has some of that in there.
Yeah,
Okay, I see what.
Isn't Mission Yozakura Family about like it's like infiltrating a family, right?
Well,
Like a
okay,
crime
so
family, isn't it?
this guy basically
Oh,
is
it's a spy family. I see.
kind of, yeah, but they're more so hitmen than spies. And
Okay.
like this girl falls in love with this guy, and basically they take him into the family, and it's about him training to become a hitman because the girl who is the one that fell in love with him has like some special condition or spot power that's important to the family, and the rest of the family protects her. But if they said, if we're gonna let you marry her, you have to protect her.
You actually
And
got to protect her too.
yeah, and they train him, and then they start going on missions together. It's badass, and each like person of the family has different powers. Like you can even see like they use guns. Like
Yeah.
like it is. I like it. I'm not all the way caught up by any means, but like I'm like 60 chapters in. It's pretty damn good.
Okay, I'll check that out. And you can find that on the Manga Plus app, or
Oh,
I
the
believe
Shonen
it's
Jump app,
also on
yeah.
the Shonen Jump app as well. Yep.
Yep.
Sick. I will actually check that out because I know for sure that this one is going to get an anime. At
Anime,
some point,
yeah,
I
it
should say.
definitely is.
I think I'm pretty sure it leaked.
I was
that it
about to
going
say.
get, an anime.
Yep. And all those things that came out in that leak have been confirmed. If not, they will be confirmed shortly. Like Kaiju number 8 was in that leak. Your Jam by Ayashimon creator was in the leak.
House Paradise.
Yeah, and there were like two others that have already happened that were in the link. But what's Glinka and Gluna about? I'm just seeing this like the witch and the cat creature.
Yeah, he's a snowman actually.
Oh!
So
I thought it was a cat. Okay.
He's cat shaped, but he's shaped like a friend, is what he is.
Okay.
By the way, he is foul mouthed. He is a foul. He's like an alcoholic, like philanderer, like powerful wizard, basically.
That makes me want to read it even more so now.
Yeah. She's a wild child, kind of like Luffy sort of deal. She's very similar to Luffy in my opinion, actually. Who's raised in the mountains, a very snowy, like Himalayan mountains deal, and she meets him and learns how to do magic from him, basically.
Okay.
And he's a powerful wizard who was so powerful that
they turned him into a snowman.
Well, they cut his body parts up like Sukuna, basically.
Okay.
And his latent body parts have so much magic in them that they animate the things that they're around.
That's hard.
So it's them going find his body parts and fighting like whatever.
I just clicked on chapter 2 and it's like this big ass creature in there. Like this art looks pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it's got the scale of the art's really good. I like the magic system a lot. Just the way that the character designs are pretty solid. It reminds me a lot of like Black Clover mixed with One Piece a bit.
I see some of the stuff you're talking about One Piece. Like some of these creatures look crazy.
The character designs remind me a lot, and magic reminds me a lot of like Black Clover, though, is what I'll say.
She does look a little Noelle now that you say that.
But I've been enjoying it. I hope that it can bounce back a bit for sure.
Hell yeah. Glinka and Gluna. Nice.
Yeah. And then so that's what we got for our news and the table of contents. Now for our Sakamoto Days review. So
nice.
Lynn, this is something you've been wanting me to read for a while. I've been
yes, sir.
Putting it off a little bit, but I finally got a chance to finish reading Sakamoto Days, and I'll tell you, I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Hell yeah! So let's do this because I'm gonna clip this in like a week and put this part out on YouTube as well, along with the whole thing like separately. But let's do part non-spoiler, part spoiler. Like we do spoiler at the end, but let's convince people why they need to read this because like I think for American audiences, this would be so easy to get into. Like this is 100% like if you like Barry, if you like typical American hitman type shit mixed with like somebody getting out the game like that old super wily veteran hitman gets out of the game, starts a family, but he's slowly getting dragged back in. Like I can think of like 6 Harrison Ford movies that are like that. Like that is straight up American stuff that we love. But the way that they add Japanese humor into it with like the body morphing and like the way that like he goes from this pudgy guy to like, the typical I'm a badass hitman. I think it's hilarious. It's heartwarming. But then when it gets serious, oh, bro, it gets serious.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of it too. I think that it'll also check a lot of the same notes for people as Spy Family, except it's a little bit more action oriented, a lot more action oriented than Spy Family.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say.
And I won't say the story's as good as Spy Family's and for those aspects of it, like the slice of life part, like Spy Family has it on that. But in terms of like the hitman part of the story, that shit's gas.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think the overarching story is a bit more of a thing for Sakamoto Days compared to Spy Family, where Spy Family is more character driven.
This is about like the I guess would you say X is the underlying villain before we get into like spoiler stuff?
Yeah, X is definitely the villain there.
Yeah, since like chapter 15.
He's the. It would be really odd for them to introduce somebody who is even higher up than him at this point.
But I will say, no, I do agree with that. But do you think it could be like another organization gets introduced if X gets taken out, or do you think X is the main guy? Just because X isn't connected to anything, like really?
I think if they X and Slur, right? Are they the same guy?
Yeah, they're the same guy. Yeah.
Because I know that they talk about like they kind of talk about them as different people because it's personas that the characters take
exactly.
On.
So now we're kind of getting spoilery for those people out there.
We'll talk a little bit more spoilery. I think that if they were to introduce like another villain, it would be the JAA itself.
Yeah, see, that's what I was like. A sect of it is like dark mode.
It would be like the bad apples.
Yeah,
like that.
Like they're corrupt and like someone in the higher up has made like this whole time like a secret sect that does killing things that the normal JAA can't do.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. But I do love how X is like almost, I don't want to say contemporary of Sakamoto, but like they were around at the same time.
Yeah. He wasn't quite on the same level as Sakamoto, Nagumo, and Rio.
Sakamoto's that dude. Like that dude is when you ask like who like some of the best hitmen are in manga and anime, he instantly has to be put in the list.
Yeah, he's pretty crazy with it. Some of the things that you see him do, I love just the way he fights with like, improvised weapons and his environment specifically most of the time. That's really fun to me.
There was one chapter early on, speaking of that, like improvised, where he picked up a hammer and like was using the back of it, throwing it. Like, bro, when he gets handheld weapons more so than guns, the way that they draw it, like with his like the arm coming across, and it's like this whole swipe. Bro, that shit looks great. And
well, yeah, and the hammer is like it's kind of it's foreshadowing to a member of the order that we meet later on with Shishiba, who reminds me of my boy Shin from Dorohedoro.
You're right.
In a lot of ways.
You're right.
That he's like the straight man of his elite killing group, but also is a fucking psychopath at the same time.
You're so right.
Yeah, I think that they are definitely very similar characters in a good way, though.
No, for sure.
Not complaining about the similarities at all.
For sure, for sure. Like,
When we were talking about how we like Sakamoto's improvised weapons, I think that that's another thing that, to go off of spoiler talk for a second, that a lot of people would really enjoy about Sakamoto Days is that every character has a very distinct fighting style.
yep.
It is something where the choreography is arguably the best part of the manga a lot of the
Yep.
time, is the fight choreography.
And that's why at first when I started reading it, when you're on, because I got all the arcs pulled up, when you're on the introductory arc and you see like glimpses of what's to come of fighting, you're just craving for it more, because in the beginning they really do the, oh no, this is not going to be a battle shonen. Like, this is, you're like, he's out of the life. And slowly as you get into like the Sugar Park arc, the assassin killer arc, but it's really when you get to the Ukatabi lab arc, when Lou is mistakenly kidnapped and Sakamoto and Shin has to save her. When they get into that arc, you're fully on. Action is in here. We're not leaving. It's just a snowball downward of like, okay, it's fully intense on this action. Like, and that's like chapter like 1920. Like, once that arc happens, it's like, okay, this is a battle shonen for sure.
Yeah, the pacing is pretty fast. I wouldn't say it's like Chainsaw Man fast, but
No.
they definitely do not leave, like, it's a very steady pace. They do not give you a whole lot of like breathing time. I would say there's not really a lot of downtime between the arcs.
Also, let me shout out the creator, because we haven't said his name once, and I didn't know who it was until this. Yuto Suzuki. So shout out to Yuto Suzuki. I'm definitely going to be putting him on the list of like, this guy's legit.
10 out of 10 with the volume covers, by the way. Every single one of them is a banger. I'm really considering adding them to my physical collection.
I got to. Yeah, no, I'm with you. I gotta buy some. I want to get figures too when they come out. Like, I have to. But to your point about each person fighting different, I want to shout out just some of my favorite characters, and you can shout out some of yours. Shin Asakura, with his like brain reading and the way he uses that, like, as like this guy who like, I viewed almost as like observation hockey in One Piece, how he quickly reads the future and like does moves off of it. Like, I like that. I love I think his name is Hisuke, or the sniper. Hisuke. That guy's my guy. Plus his humor is great as well.
Yeah, I love that he has like the little bird with him as his spotter. That is so good.
And it's awesome because the bird can fly, and like we've seen that, like the bird goes in the air and starts to like look, and as a spotter, that's brilliant.
I know it'll never happen, but if they ever kill the bird, this is a 0 out of 10 manga for me.
Oh no! If they kill the bird, he has to die too. They both have to die.
Exactly. No, they should. If it were ever to be one of them, kill him and not the bird.
Yeah,
legitimately.
And like he would legit want the bird. Yes, 100%, 1000%. I also love Nagumo. Like,
Nagumo's pretty good. He's gonna be the character where, when the anime comes out, a lot of people were going to have crushes on him and stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah. But I like how he's like the connection to the order, and like, but still he rocks with Sakamoto.
Yeah, he's like a sassy bitch in a way. Like, he doesn't get, like, he's part of the order, but he doesn't really care.
Doesn't give a damn. Yeah,
it's like just his job.
He's that character. Like, Roy Mustang was like a little bit more official, like a little bit caring more about the organization he is, but he falls in that line of like Benimaru from Fire Force, like that archetype of guy who's like, yeah, I'm part of this, but I don't fuck with them dudes.
Yeah.
But his enhanced speed and reflexes, that boy can like move, like the way he dodges shit and like gets around people, so badass.
The Swiss Army knife weapon is great. The car fight that they had recently, where he's like on top of the car, people, is crazy. I'm
trying to think of what's the hammer guy's name, because I gotta mention him too. You were right, that guy's badass.
Shishiba.
Badass.
He had a fantastic fight recently.
Blonde hair, like, yeah, bro, and like him and his partner. Oh, that chapter was nuts with the old man, and how like the old man was like, I should have killed you back then, bitch. And like his girl was like, stop playing with him, beat his ass. I was loving that.
Yeah. Also, shout out her as well.
Oh, she's a badass too.
Yes,
To your point, she reminds me of Noi as well.
Osaragi.
Personality wise, like
yeah,
the way that she talks.
they are very similar to Noi and Shin when it comes to how they hang out with each other.
She doesn't look like Noi, but to your point of like interactions, the way they communicate to each other, the way they act, Shin and Noi 100%.
Her fight with the geisha that was going on at the same time was fantastic too. Did you catch the reference that they did there with like when she was stabbing the screen with the umbrella? So there's a game called like Tora in Japan, and it's basically like rock, paper, scissors. And that's also the thing that like the story she was telling at the beginning where she said like I think it's like Osanoi or something like that has caught a beast, has a golden headband, and has caught a beast with her rope. That's why later on she like Osaragi pulls her in with the rope after she says tiger a bunch of times.
Damn.
She has the headband and she kills her underneath the tablecloth.
That's crazy. I did not realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. No, that's nuts. And speaking of recent fights, the chapter that I read today, fucking the movie idea and like the way like he
tell me that movie director character is not drawn like a fucking JoJo's character.
Oh, yeah,
tell me he is not just a JoJo's character.
Even the way like he kind of acts like he
has the compulsions like a JoJo's character he does. Too.
And the fact that like while Sakamoto's fighting him, he used fake blood to distract Sakamoto and make it seem like he's plotting.
That's some Josuke shit right there.
I was like, what?
That's some Josuke
no, that,
shit right
100%. That is definitely some JoJo shit. Like I could see, to your point, Josuke or one of Jonathan. That's a Jonathan move for sure.
That's a Josuke or a Jonathan or a Joseph.
Right no, 100. Yeah. No, not Jonathan. I'm sorry, I said the wrong one. Joseph. It is a Joseph move, not fucking Jonathan. Yeah. Jonathan wouldn't do that. No, you're right. It is
honorable for that.
Yeah,
you're right.
It is Joseph from
Don't
America.
Crucify us, JoJo's fans.
It is old man Joestar doing that. Like he would 100% do that because he didn't have the best stand, and he had to figure out shit like on the fly and do shit. That movie should blew my mind. Like I hope as we find more about that character, we find out about more of his favorite like directors. Like go full on with it.
Mention real directors,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like bring in like real directors, and it doesn't have to be American directors. It could be Japanese directors. Like make him be like the biggest Akira Kurosawa fan, and like he has moves named after the fucking movies, like a Yojimbo move. Here's Seven Samurais, where he pulls out like he opens his cloak and there's like 7 daggers, and he starts throwing them. But that fight was badass. Who are some of your favorite characters?
I like the director a lot because I just hate that dude. Like he sucks.
Kanagiri is his name.
The VR guy was also pretty sick. I like the Aikido teacher.
Okay.
Her fight with Kanagiri was also really great. And I like that she like literally rose from the dead to stabbing him in the eye through the camera was fucking amazing.
So badass.
Yeah.
I like the old man too, Takamura, when he showed up and was like,
hey, better feats than Zoro, by the way. Sorry, not sorry.
I'm not doing that. I concede because I'm a Sakamoto Days fan. I concede.
Come at me.
I plead the fifth.
I never saw Zoro cut like a whole skyscraper in half.
And that's metal for those out there saying he cut a big meteor. That's rock. Like little two different things, people.
Yeah.
But y'all can add him. He's at Shard Base.
Yeah. Because
I plead the fifth.
Better. I say this as someone who likes Zoro, by the way. I don't really like Zoro fans that much.
No, I get it. That's how a lot of people are. But
yeah.
Oh, I also liked Hard Boiled. Like as like an early villain, Hard Boiled was tight.
Yeah.
He's literally and I like how after him the assassins got very intricate and wild. He's the definition of like a noir villain. And they made him, and I'm glad that his name was Hard Boiled because he is the ultimate like hard-boiled noir assassin hitman. If you've watched things like Bad Lieutenant, Reservoir Dogs, or even like some of like the Japanese version of The Departed, like any of those Yakuza movies, like the gangster, the cop, and the in what the fucking is the third it's the gangster, the cop, and Evil or something like that. He's 100% the hardball dude from that movie. So shout out to Hardball.
Yeah, I like that. Like the early arcs are really fun
They
too.
are, man.
I
They
will
really are.
I will say one of my it's the gangster, the cop, and the devil, by the
That's
way.
what the
It's
gangster
a
cop and the
South
devil.
Korean
Okay, and it's the
Lee,
main
Lee
guy
Won Tae film.
who's in Eternals that I'm talking about is the hardball guy.
Yeah. Oh, that's isn't that the guy from who was in Train to Busan that everybody loved too?
I believe so. I'm about to click his name.
The big dude.
Ma Dong Seok, I think is how you
Yeah.
pronounce his name. But yeah, he was
Yes.
in Train to Busan. That dude's like very underrated actor. He's incredible. Korean films are some of the best. But yeah, that's who Hardball reminds me of so much.
Yeah, agreed. Also, this I'm gonna say one of my like little
Oh yeah,
kind of things that
if we got any cons, we could do that right now. Yeah.
I think that some of the characters that they lead you to believe are
Are
going to
important.
be important are not important, like
Facts.
Liu and Hisuke. Like they're cool, but they literally just stay at
They
the
fell
shop.
off. Like,
Just,
yeah.
and they kind of tease you and make you think, oh, well, Liu is part of Shin's training to catch up with Sakamoto. Surely she'll do something.
Nope.
No, not really. After the
Nope.
triad stuff is over, she's like not really there
Do
all
you
that
think it's
much.
because that like Hisuke and Luin like aren't as strong and like they fell off, or do you think it's like
I think maybe he
the
just
author
didn't know.
forgot about them?
I think maybe the author just doesn't know what to do with them at the moment. Like we did get some hints at how good Hisuke is in the latest arc. Like
We
when they went
did.
to the shooting range, they had name unknown as the
He
top
was
one,
still killing it.
and they were saying that it was Hisuke because he forgot to put his fucking name in.
Classic Hisuke shit.
Yeah, like that was cool. I liked that. So there are hints that, and they still think about them and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they can still come back for like the final arc. It's just like they have had a pretty long absence. It's been like three whole arcs.
No, I agree. I think that would be my complaint as well. Like that, and to your point that you said earlier about the breakneck pacing, I like it, but like if at times, just pull back a little bit, just a tad.
It would be fun to get a little bit of slice of life stuff going where
Just for a breather. You know what I'm saying?
Give me more of like, the
in the store.
the mini arc where Sakamoto takes his wife on a date. Like
that was beautiful.
That sort of thing, or like the water park arc. Like
beautiful as well. And then you could have like in those things where, all right, this might have been a different arc. I'm not sure. I don't know necessarily remember what the other people were doing, but you know how freaking Shin and like all the helpers of the store would go around and do stuff like secretly so Sakamoto didn't see and like was helping him out. I forget which one that in. Stuff like that, but you could have it like have that be the action while they're doing slice of life. Like I think that would be perfect. And I guess the final thing I want to ask you is how long do you think this is how much longer do you think we got?
Either it ends after the end of the next arc or we're not even
close.
We got like 2 or 3 left.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay. I concur with that. Like I definitely
I would say pretty close. Either very close or pretty close is what I will say.
Word. 100%. Hell yeah. What would you rank this out of 5? All right, let's do 10. Let's do out of 10.
Out of 10?
Yeah. Give you more numbers.
I don't know, honestly. Right now, I would probably give it like a strong 7.5 to 8 at the moment.
See, I'm at 8.
It really depends on how this last arc goes. I would love for this next arc. So, literally spoilers if you're not current with it. The latest chapter ended with Akane going
after X.
Kinaguri to go to see X so she can know more about her aunt.
Yep. Avenging Aunt Ronnie? Rion.
Yeah. Or Rio. Rion is just like a nickname.
Gotcha.
I would love for this next arc to be a little training arc, actually, for both the heroes and the villains, since the villains have some some
younger
trainees with them,
some younger characters,
and then that will give us time to get people like Siba
and
and
Heisuke and everybody up to date.
and
Yeah.
Liang up to date, and we could also sneak a little bit of like slice of life stuff in there
Mm-hmm.
by having Sakamoto give them wax on, wax off style training.
Yeah, like go run to the grocery store. Like he keeps sending them there and back while carrying stuff. Yeah, no, 100%.
The structure of this next arc will really
set it up.
Not necessarily make or break it for me, but it will determine like where my final score for the series
is it like a upper tier 8 or is it like bottom low 7-6? Like, no, I feel you.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure. I agree 100%. Yeah, and I have it at an 8. So shout out to Sakamoto Days. I'm glad we finally did this. We'll review it again. Probably like, I think we'll do this like at the end of arcs, like at the end of major arcs. Like after this next one, we'll come back, talk about it. And then if there's another one after that, we'll come back and talk about it because it's worth talking about and it's worth promoting. And I'm glad we did this because I really enjoyed it. And like, I think it's one of the unsung heroes of Shonen Jump. We talked about mid cards today. And like, I think it's like the top of the mid cards in terms of like quality.
Agreed. It's one of those things where it's always going to be on like either number like 5 to 10 area, and sometimes it'll reach up and get in the top 3.
Yeah, it could pop up. Like, yeah, for sure. And like when it has the anime, I expect it to do that. Like, it's gonna go on a run of like, for example, back to wrestling, to those people out there who know who like Rey Mysterio was. Rey Mysterio is very popular. People love him, but he's a mid-carder. Like, he had a run with the championship, but for the most part, he stays like in the middle to like make sure everything's good because you got to have quality in the middle. And I think that's what Sakamoto Days. It's the Rey Mysterio of Shonen Jump.
Agreed, wholeheartedly.
Hell yeah. So, but that's pretty much all I got on this. And shout out to the Manga Melee fans watching this. This will be in the Manga Melee video when this drops tomorrow, but gonna have it released separately like a little bit later. So if you're watching this on the YouTube video only, go check out the latest chapter of Manga Melee.
Hell yeah, thanks for that, Lynn. And you know,
bro,
also,
got to.
If you want to see more of me, you can also check me out over on our cousin podcast, adjacent podcast.
Yeah, like our homies, like basically our half brother.
Yeah. Our brothers from another mother.
Facts.
What do you say, anime? I'm there basically like twice a month, more or less, sometimes 3 times a month.
Hell yeah.
Yep. And yeah, I think that'll also wrap it up for this episode of the Manga Melee podcast. A little bit of a light episode, but I'm dealing with some winter storms over here, so
yeah, it's crazy. You gotta be careful.
Trying to avoid my power going out and that sort of thing. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at Manga Melee Pod. You can also find my personal account on Twitter over at Shardbase. That's a shard, as in a shard of glass, and as in a Lil B the base god. Lynn, why don't you tell the people where they can find you at?
Oh, you follow me at LynBWT everywhere, but mainly follow the Bros Who Think at Bros Who Think for all updates.
Gotcha. And you got anything else you want to plug real quick?
Oh, well, we got a lot. If you like this, we got the One Piece manga review out with me, Jazz, and Verson, Jay's brother. We also have another One Piece video dropping. By the time you guys hear this, it'll be out where Beast Pirates versus Big Mom Pirates, the start of our Yonko series, where we're going to be putting 2 Yonko's crews together and discussing which one is better. Beast Pirates and Big Mom Pirates are first. The next one will be the Whitebeard Pirates and probably the Blackbeard Pirates. We're trying to decide who should be next, but we're doing that. And then Jazz and I have a Black Clover review out. By the time you guys hear this, Anime Talk will be out this weekend, if not early next week. Bros Who Binge is out by the time you guys hear this, and then Run It Back will be out this weekend. And the Bros Who Think podcast will be out on Friday. So a lot of good stuff. Everything. Oh, and the Work Shoot Show will be out on Friday. So everything's dropping. Yeah, busy week for the network. So be sure to check out all of that stuff.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for listening, and have a good one.